A long time ago now, a man gave me some advice that really changed my life. And if showing you this piece of advice can just help you with anything in life, overcome any obstacle, I'm happy to share it with you now. Here's the advice. And I've never forgotten it to this day. So powerful, so moving. Thank you. It's only Brandon. I really appreciate it. You really, thank you. Anyway, so I'm going to be talking about Terrifier today. It's a movie. Like all movies, it is in fact a movie. It's a really good one. Now, if you've seen the Smile video and mine, this is very much like that. I'm just gonna be talking about a horror movie for however long it takes to compile all my thoughts about it. Fantastic movie. I would say it is the best slasher I've ever seen. It is. It's kind of a movie that doesn't have a plot. It's just there for the gore enthusiasts among us. Among us. It's just kind of like blood and guts and horrible murder for like hour and 19 minutes. I believe that's the runtime, and it's beautiful, truly amazing. It's a fantastic experience. There's no plot. There's it the movie is there's a clown. He's bad and he likes killing people, and that's the entire plot. That is literally the entire story. Terrifier 2 has more of a plot, but yeah, it's Terrifier 1 is just this guy. He's a clown and he likes killing people, and it is amazing for several reasons. The first of which being the only reason people watch the movie, Art the Clown, the main villain, the clown. There have been some terrifying killer clowns out there in horror, killer clown movies, killer clown characters. He's the best, in my opinion, to ever grace the screen that I've ever seen. Better than Pennywise, better than the killer clowns from outer space, better than any of them. He is at the top of the food chain when it comes to murderous clowns, in my opinion. It is he's his actor David Howard Thornton, the guy who plays Art the Clown in Terrifier 1 and 2. He is amazing at his job. If you don't know, the gimmick with Art the Clown is that he's two things. He has two major personality traits. One, he really likes to kill people and inflict as much pain as humanly possible. Two is that he never makes a sound. Like not even screams. At one point in Terrifier 1, his foot gets stabbed and he mimes a scream. He goes like, but he doesn't make a single sound. It's beautiful. I love it because he's more of a mime than he's a clown. He's dressed up as a black and white clown, I guess, but he acts like a mime, a murderous mime, really, and it's fantastic, and I love it to death. The fact that he never talks, and even when he should be like yelling or something, he's just miming the. Yeah, it's great. It's so good. And if you have, by the way, if you haven't watched the movie, I'm going to be talking a lot about it. Please go watch it beforehand if you like this, if you like these kind of movies, because can't recommend it enough. It is a like 9, maybe 10 out of 10 horror movie in my opinion. It is really good, and Terrifier 2 is maybe even better. Can't even decide. So I guess I'll start with the plot. So there's these two girls, one named Tara and one named Dawn. Dawn is drunk, and it's Halloween and they just got back from a party. By the way, Tara is unreasonably attractive. We're all thinking it. Look at a picture and tell me I'm wrong. If you like, I mean, if you don't think she's pretty, you're either gay or stupid. I'm sorry. Um, anyway, they got back from a party. They're drunk. Well, Dawn is drunk, and they're at a pizza place before going back to their apartment or whatever. And And just before they go into the pizza place, they run into this clown in the alley, and they have no idea who he is. And he's just this black and white clown hauling around a big garbage bag like Santa Claus on his back. And he just kind of looks at them with a grin like this. And it's honestly terrifying, especially for like the first time watching it. I've seen this movie like 3 times now. It's less scary, obviously, because you know what's going to happen and all that, and know who he is. But on the first watching, it can be genuinely terrifying, especially if you have an actual fear of clowns, which I know so many people do. And he's just staring at them, not saying a word, and they're just like, okay. And then they go get pizza, and he follows them in. just like minutes later after they go in and order, he just waltzes in, places his bag down, just sits down, and the guy's like the guy working the counter is like, oh yeah, he's talking on the phone. Oh, you should see the guy who just walked in here, and they get their food. They're just talking for a while, and Tara is the more sensible one here because she's not drunk. Hold on, my computer is about to die. Let me plug in the old charger for a moment. Ooh boy, this is fantastic video quality. I'm not gonna edit this out. This is funny. This is honestly can't find the charger port. Well, there we go. Okay, back to it. Not editing that out. That was too perfect. Anyway, so they get their pizza, and Art is just staring at them. He's just like giving Tara, especially not so much Dawn, the stink eye from across the room, and he's like comatose almost. Where the guy working the counter is finally like he's off the phone. He's like, okay, what can I get for you, buddy? He's holding the notepad for taking orders, and Art is just. And he's like, "What? Can you want to order something? If you're not going to order anything, you're going to have to leave." And Art is still just like,
What can I get for you, buddy? Hey, hello? If you don't order anything, you're gonna have to leave.
and genuinely kind of terrifying, honestly. And Tara's like, "Yeah, we should go." And then Dawn, because she's drunk and stupid and blonde, yeah, the same thing. Um, she's like, "No, no, it's Halloween. That guy's just dressed up. He's being a dickhead for fun." And so she goes up and takes a bunch of pictures with him, which will be important later, I guess. And then from her table, she's like, "Oh, you've already got 8 likes on I don't know fucking Instagram or something." And he's just staring at them the entire time. And eventually he gets up, and he has this great moment where he goes over to someone's table who left, and he takes a quarter out of the tip, and he puts it in one of those like gumball machines with the little prizes in them, and he gets like a shitty little ring, like a spider ring, and puts it on Tara's finger. Just walks over to her and like proposes to her. He literally gets down on one knee and is like holding the ring just like that, and just like, and he has a smile on his face, like, and it's fantastic. I love it so much. He's so entertaining.
Aw.
One thing I should note about Art is that he is kind of adorable in a weird way sometimes. Like he would be fun to have at parties if he didn't want to kill people. He's the kind of clown that I would hire if he wasn't going to kill me. I mean, he's really entertaining in a way, which kind of becomes less so. Well, maybe more so depending on who you ask. Um, anyway, I mean, she has a ring now, and she's like, "Oh, thanks. That's so nice." And then he just leaves, and he tips his little hat, and and then he goes to the bathroom. He does some fun stuff in there. And then, they're eating, they're being like, what the fuck is wrong with him? And Tara keeps glancing at his bag that I left on his seat, and she's like, what the fuck is in that bag? And then they leave, and or they're getting ready to leave, and the guy, the employee there, is you just hear him from the back saying, "Get the fuck out of here, you fucking freak! That's disgusting!" And he's just dragging her along, throwing him out physically, and saying like, "Take your bag with you." And we're immediately led to believe that he probably jerked off in the bathroom, but it was worse. Don't you worry. Um, and Tara and Dawn leave, and they don't think anything of it, and then we cut back later to the employee of the pizza place cleaning up the bathroom, and the walls and toilet are caked in shit. Like that guy, like Art was just like shitting in his hand and smearing it all over the walls, and he wrote Art on the wall in his shit. And the funny thing is, when watching, you don't find out Art's name at all in the movie. I don't think. I believe it is said in Terrifier 2, but I don't think at any point you actually learn Art's name in the first movie except for the credits. And when I first saw that, I thought he was just saying, "Haha, this is Art." No, that's his name. I had no idea. It's almost funnier that way because I thought it was just like a meta joke, like art smeared in the wall with shit is like art. But no, no, his name is Art, and I think that's great. I don't know if that was intentional, but who knows? Um, and that that's a whole lot of fun. And then they're just like, well, moseying them back to their car, being like, "What the fuck was with that guy?" And Dawn's like, "Oh, don't worry about it. It's Halloween. He's acting like a retard." And she actually says the word retard because you could say it back then. And they get back to their car and they find out they have a flat tire. Oh no, no, no! They have a flat tire. Not in a horror movie. That's not good. And they, then they're stuck there, so they have to call Tara's sister, who I can't remember the name of, and and then she's like, "Oh, I have to wake up for a test in 5 hours though, because I'm in college." And then her roommate comes in with the boyfriend. They start making out on the bed right next to her, and she's like, "Well, I guess I can get 2 hours of sleep tonight." And then Tara's like, "Oh, thanks, you're the best big sister ever." And it's a whole sweet little wholesome exchange between siblings. It's really nice. And yeah, so they're just waiting in their car now, waiting for Tara's sister to get there to pick them up. I don't know what the fuck they're gonna do about the car. I guess it's just gonna get towed. But that's not really important. It won't be by the end of the movie. I promise you, it won't be important. Cut back to the pizza place where the guy who's cleaning up all the shit all over the fucking bathroom. He walks out demanding time and a half for what he's doing. And fair enough. I would demand double time. Um, and he finds that his manager has been beheaded and his head is turned into a jack-o'-lantern with a candle in the mouth and both eyes. It's covered in blood and it looks really good actually. This movie also had a very small budget of I believe like $30,000 or so, which I know sounds like a lot of money to you or me who's like a 22-year-old guy living in a shitty apartment, but I mean for movies that is nothing, which is it just makes it even more impressive that the gore in this movie looks genuinely fantastic. And so yeah, that's not fun. And then who's standing there? Art, he's back. I guess they forgot to lock the door behind them. I mean, I guess they weren't closed yet. Um, and he's back, and the guy's like, "Oh shit, I gotta call for help." So he rushes over the phone. He's trying to dial 911 before he knows it. Art just chops off his hand with a meat cleaver and then just beheads him. And it's a whole gruesome thing. Or no, I don't. I think he slits his throat, not beheads him, or whatever it may be. It's really gory, really a lot of blood. Looks really good, like effect wise. Yeah, it's he likes killing people. Someone tells me that Tara was right about him, and maybe Dawn is just a little bit drunk. I don't know, just a hunch. I mean, the movie is called Terrifier, but maybe it's Tara. If I maybe I read it wrong. Maybe it's actually just like the main character Tara. Maybe it's her name, but they spelled wrong. Maybe it's supposed to be Tara Fire instead of Terrifier. I don't know. I mean, I'm not terrified yet. I'm gonna need to see more in order to be truly terrified by this movie. So then they terrify us more. Where while they're sitting in the car, Tara is going in a building because she has to pee, and there's a girl or I'm sorry, there's a guy in there doing a extermination of rats in the building, and he's like, "Oh, I could get you in a lot of trouble for letting you in here to take a piss, but I mean, you're so goddamn hot. I just kind of have to let you in now, don't I?" And the gentleman's code: if a hot girl on Halloween who looks like this who looks like that comes up to you on Halloween night and asks to take a piss in the building that you are exterminating rats inside of, you have to let her in. We all know that. We've all been there. If you didn't let that girl in, like I know it happened to you. If you're watching this video, it's all happened to us. If you didn't let her in, you're a piece of shit. Fuck you. Have you seen how hot she is? All right. Okay. Good to know we're on the same page. Anyway, um, she goes and takes a piss, and that's all fine and dandy. And the guy's well, like, all right, well, I got to get back to my job. And he gets back to his job then. And he puts in earbuds and listens to music, which is going to be very important later on, kind of, I guess. And Dawn is listening to the radio in her car. She's waiting there, and she turns to a station where it's the news saying, beware, there's just a violent double homicide at a pizza place in so and so district of town where two employees were violently murdered. And then he says, the guy on the radio is like, all people are recommended to be on watch for a man in a black and white clown costume. And then Dawn is like, oh, holy shit, maybe I'm drunk. And she looks at her phone and then she sees the pictures with a guy in a black and white clown costume that looks suspiciously like he wants to kill people. And she's like, oh, holy shit, I am drunk. And and then the car door opens, but you don't see who's getting inside, which is it's a really good shot where the car door just opens and Dawn's still looking at her phone and she's like, "Oh, Tara, guess what? I'm fucking drunk." And she looks at her and it's not Tara, it's Art, and he's fucking there. And he just has this terrifying moment where he's just looking straight forward like out the windshield and he's just and yeah, it's really good. Um and just cut back to Tara, and now she's kind of like wandering around the building for God knows why. I guess she's curious about like I don't know whatever the fuck. She comes across a big room full of used tires, and she's like, "Oh, how ironic, because of the slashed tire. Ooh, funny." And and then there's this crazy old schizophrenic homeless lady who's like, "Oh, hello, you must be the new tenant in this building. Have you met my child?" And she holds up like this porcelain baby doll and is like, "Her name is Teresa or whatever the fuck." And she talks just like this. Her name is whatever the fuck. Um, it's been so long since I had company. Would you like to do fun things together? Would you like to borrow some sugar, neighbor? And I mean, she's like clearly fucking insane. She's clearly some homeless woman who has some mental issues. And it's actually kind of sad, really. And you can see in Tara's face where she's just like, "Oh, excuse me, I have to go talk to the landlord." That's actually kind of like a really depressing part of the movie where it's like that's a very real thing where this homeless woman is just like off her fucking rocker, and she thinks this doll is her actual baby, and later in the movie she goes out of her way to save its life because she's fucking crazy, and I don't know, it's fucked. Um, and she just keeps on wandering around more than she has any right doing. She was there to take a piss. You see, okay, let me make a very clear distinction. If you let the girl in on Halloween night who looks like this to take a piss in the building that you're exterminating, she's only allowed to take a piss. If she takes so much as one tiny little pebble shit in your fucking toilet of the building that you don't own, you kick that bitch out no matter how hot she is, all right? She's going off the hook. It's ridiculous. She's there to take a piss. Now she's all up in your shit. She's gonna get all the rats riled up, and then you'll never be able to kill them all. She's fucking it all up. I don't care how hot she is. She's like you gotta like it happened to me. It's like a rite of passage. I mean, it happened to me, and this bitch was just trying to take all the shits in the world. She was spending so goddamn long, and like not a creep. I was holding there with like a cup to the door. I just wanted to hear her grunt a time or two, but then I realized, wait, are those farts I hear? And then I was realized she's taking a shit in there. You were only supposed to be allowed to take a piss. If they find out that I had a girl that looks like this shitting in the building that I don't own on Halloween that I'm exterminating, I'm gonna get in so much goddamn trouble. And I mean, I just fucking, I don't know. I called the cops. Not proud of it. Girl this hot doesn't deserve to be in prison. But yeah, they knew. It all happened to them too. There were two male cops that showed up, and they knew. They know how it goes. You don't allow the girl to take any more than one little piss. If she starts shitting, if she starts vomiting, if she starts looking around the building, you kick the bitch out. That is a Class D felony right there. Not trespassing, just looking around the building and shit. That like you can't do that. That should be a crime against humanity. It's fucked. I can't believe her. So disrespectful. Men really have the short end of the stick on this one. But yeah. So where was I? Fuck. Oh yeah. So the movie. She's looking around, and then Art is there, and like she gets back to the front door, and yeah, Art's just kind of standing there with a syringe in his hand, and we don't find out what happened to Dawn yet, but he's just kind of there. He's got a bunch of blood on him. He's holding a syringe, and he's just standing there like this at first, and like with fucking jazz hands, and it's wonderful. And Tara's just like, oh fuck, Dawn is drunk, isn't she? And and then Art just starts chasing after her. Like his hands don't like he doesn't like start running normally. He starts running towards her like a zombie with his hands outstretched with the syringe in hand, and it's fucking terrifying, really. And with that smile on his face, and before you know it, he's cornered her in a parking garage, and she's hiding under cars, watching him just skulk around. He's walking around like a vampire, all quiet, like not making a sound apart from just stepping. And eventually, hijinks ensue, Scooby Doo chasing, and then he catches her, jabs her in the neck with the syringe, and she is passed out. It's not like not some lethal injection, not some injection of pure fentanyl, but enough to knock you out. It's and yeah, she's asleep, a little sleepy time. Me 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 like that. I mean, we've all been there. We all do it, once a day. Um, Unless you're my friend who's an insomniac, I don't know. She's weird. She doesn't do it once a day. But anyway, uh, yeah. So she wakes up and she is tied to a chair or taped to a chair, and Art's there again, and he's got all his fun tools. Guess what was in that bag from before? A bunch of weapons, a bunch of fucking like knives and shit, and it's gonna be a whole fun time. And he grabs a hammer and he just like to Tara, but he's just like doing the gesture of to like jump scare, like oh hammer jump scare, but I'm not actually gonna hit you with it yet. It's not time for that yet. Don't worry. You're next on the chopping block, and she's like, oh, who next? Doesn't say it. He doesn't say fucking anything. And then he just rips a tarp off of someone hanging in the back wall, and it's I'm sorry, it's Dawn strung up by her ankles. She's completely nude, so I can't show any of this. But yeah, he starts sawing through her the long way. You know that organ that women have, the one that it's like usually compared to a taco. Yeah, he takes a hacksaw and then he just kind of yeah he just kind of goes all the way down and then to her head, and it's really bad. Oh fuck! There's so much blood, and the whole time he's just miming laughter. He's going, and it's yeah, he's just having a jolly old time. He's so glad about the entire. He's so jolly the entire time. He loves killing people. He really like it's his favorite hobby. And Tara's like, well, can't have this now, can I? And so she gets up and she breaks the chair, and then Art's like, "Oh no 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 you don't!" And then he gets up, and he's done with Dawn now, so he starts chasing after her, and a whole bunch of fucking Scooby Doo chasing hijinks ensue where they're chasing each other around, and eventually she gets the upper hand. She has like a fucking board with her, and she just starts beating him in the face with it, and gets him down on the ground. Actually, gets him to bleed a little bit, and then out of nowhere, or so he's down on the ground. He starts getting up slowly. He's kneeling now, and Tara's with the board in her hand, like a bat, is saying like, get up, motherfucker!" And because he just murdered her best friend. I mean, I would be angry too. Um, the problem here is that she gave him a chance to like recuperate and all that instead of just stomping on his head until he dies. So that wasn't a great idea. But there's this incredibly just out of left field scene, like I did not expect it at all when I first watched it. Um, yeah, he has a gun. He just fucking shoots her. He straight up fucking shoots her. I mean, this whole time he's been using like knives and hacksaws. He just has a fucking gun. I don't know where he got it. I don't know what serial number is. I don't know who sold the gun to this man, but someone did. And I mean, I think they need to be put on a list. I think they shouldn't even be allowed to sell guns anymore. This isn't good. This is why America has a fentanyl crisis. Um, yeah, I mean, it's a whole fun time. He's just shooting her, and then I was expecting her to like. and she's still alive. He just shot her in the leg, I think, and I was expecting to like mutilate her more, but I think he's really genuinely pissed off because she fought back a little bit, which I'm assuming no one ever has before against him, and he just shoots her like seven more times in the face, like in the face, literally, and by the end of her face is looking like Swiss cheese. And it's fucked, and he has like the most serious look of the movie on his face. It was just like most of the time, Art is like, but here when he's shooting, he's just you fucking bitch, you hit me with a board. And yeah, and Tara's dead. She's not coming back. It's not like one of those like moments in a movie where like you think a character's dead and they're coming back. That happens later, but not now. Tara is fucking dead. Dawn is fucking dead. Both of the main characters that we were introduced to, like 30 minutes ago, they're fucking dead. All right, good. And and then yeah, it's the fucking homeless lady. She sees all that unfold. She must have heard all the gunshots and be like, "Oh, the landlord's having a party." And she finds him and she's like, "Oh fuck, I shouldn't have sold Dawn all that alcohol. Look how drunk her friend is." And and she goes running off and she finds the guy, Mike, who was the exterminator who let that fucking bitch in, who decided to look around. Stupid motherfucker. We all know the code. So she finds Mike and she has like this surprisingly coherent meltdown to him, I guess, where she's like describing what's happening, and it's unbelievable to an average person. I can't blame Mike for believing she's just crazy because she's like, the woman goes up to me and she's like, there's a clown in the basement. He's killing people. He's laughing about it because he thinks it's funny, and like literally everything she says is 100% objectively accurate to the current fucking occurrences. But he's just wondering like, lady, who the fuck are you? How did you get here? I let one girl in to piss, and she doesn't leave after she's done pissing, and this is what I get. A bunch of fucking crazy people run up and tell me about a killer clown in the basement. Get out of my face. And and there's just a whole exchange there where he's like, get off of me, and he's just like pushing her away. And then she realizes the crazy lady, where's my baby? My porcelain baby, and then she's like, oh fuck, I left him downstairs with the landlord. And so yeah, she goes back down to save her child, and Art is just cradling the little thing in his arms, and the little doll in like this like sewer, like almost sewer like passageway. And there's one detail I really like that I only noticed on my third watching of the movie. As the lady's approaching, because there are pipes all along this hallway he's sitting in with the baby, and as he's cradling it, you hear one of the pipes make a hiss sound, and I'm pretty sure it's intentional, where it was supposed to sound like Art going shh, like like that you do to children, but it doesn't actually say anything. So they used a pipe hissing for that. I think that's such a cool detail to get around Art not talking at all. I love it. And so yeah, the lady is like, "Please give her back. That's my child. I don't want you to kill my child." And then there's this one scene where like, oh holy shit, Art might not be, no, he's definitely a psychopath, but he might not be irredeemable. Well, no, he's definitely irredeemable. He might have mommy issues. So she starts actually hugging Art, believe it or not, because she's fucking crazy and she wants her baby back. I don't know whether it's a mixture of the two or whatever. But she starts hugging him, and he kind of embraces her, and Art starts unironically sucking on his thumb like an infant, and it's a very uncomfortable but also like almost wholesome scene where she's just kind of comforting him and saying that like, shh, it'll be okay. And I don't know exactly what her end goal was here. I don't know if she was just being like, well, gotta calm the landlord down, if she just wanted her child back or whatever the fuck. But yeah, that happened all right. And then Tara's sister finally got here, and then yeah, we have a fun time with that where she's going in the building, she's finding Dawn, she's finding Tara, and it's it's fucked. And eventually, She comes across a still alive woman crawling across the floor. Um, and But then the camera pans across the room to the crazy homeless lady who has her entire upper torso skinned. Her entire breast area is just cut off, and her scalp is cut off. Yeah, it's fucked. And then she dies of blood loss right down there. And then the crawling woman that her sister came across is like, well, who the fuck is this? And then it was someone. The person was face down, and then he looks up and it's fucking Art literally wearing the homeless lady's scalp and breasts as like a jacket, and it's horrifying, genuinely horrifying. So yeah, that's why. Like the lesson of the wise, you don't want to cradle and comfort absolute psychopaths. It's not really gonna work out very well. I promise you. I mean, you might get your baby back, but I would bank more on the fact that you're probably gonna get skinned alive. I mean, I don't know. I wouldn't risk it if I were you. And then more hijinks and then more hijinks ensue, and she's running, Art's chasing, and he starts doing like a dance almost where he just kind of comes into the room where I cannot remember her name for the love of God. I really can't. I'm sorry. Um, I'm gonna call her Sam for the rest of the video. I don't fucking care. So Sam is running and Art's chasing, and he just like does this like weird dance walking in the room. I think it's supposed to be like feminine because he's wearing a woman's skin, and he's just being really weird. And yeah, and she's hiding in a closet like Outlast or some bullshit. And and Art is pointing and laughing at the closet where he's going like almost to say like, "Oh, you thought you could hide from me? I see you in there." And she's just screaming at him, tears in her eyes. "Please leave me alone! Why are you doing this? Please stop!" And as he's approaching the locker that she's hiding in, you hear the car horn honking, and then Art just drops out of view, drops straight to the ground. And it's Mike's coworker, who I forgot to mention. There's a really brief moment where um, after the homeless lady was informing Mike about Art in the basement, Art comes up a flight of stairs while Mike's back is turned. He hits him in the head with a hammer, and it just goes down. And now his coworker showed up. He's like, "Well, where the fuck? Why aren't these rats dead yet?" So he's like, "Mike, what the fuck are you doing, man?" He's honking on the horn. "Mike, let me in, man. This is ridiculous. We have a job to do." And he fucking dies. I mean, I'm gonna spoil the surprise. Art goes over to that guy now because he's now on the top of the kill list, where he just kind of grabs him and he just kind of gives him the old cartel treatment of grabbing him by the scalp and just sawing his neck apart, and fully beheads him and just kind of like holds his head there and just kind of stares at it. It's it's a scene, all right. It looks really good, especially for the budget. And back to Sam. So she's kind of fucked. I mean, she doesn't know where she is. She doesn't know how to get out. Art seems to know every nook and cranny of this building, and he has the weapons at hand, and she doesn't. So she's looking around more, and she finds the body of her sister Tara, and she sees all the gunshots in her face, and she has a sign. Tara's body has a sign draped over her labeled "circus," and it's really fucked up. And she's just sitting there, falls to her knees, crying, saying, "No, no, no! How could this be? We didn't even get drunk yet." And Art's just kind of there. He just kind of shows up with a scalpel flail, as painful as you can imagine. It's just like a stick with a bunch of strings attached with like a scalpel and a pair of scissors and another knife on the end. And he just starts whipping her with it and cutting all her clothes, and she's bleeding all over the place, and it's all fucked up. And I mean, it is like it kind of makes my skin crawl because I can't even imagine the pain that she would be feeling. Like if you've seen the scene, it is bad. And then Mike, like a fucking homie, comes out of nowhere and just hits the back of the head of Art full force like a can of something. And Art is down for the count. And Mike has his big gash in his forehead, but he's still alive, just bleeding. Probably has a concussion, but he's still alive. And then he grabs Sam and he's like, "Come on, we got to get out of here," because he knows what's happening now. Oh shit, the crazy lady was right. And and they go to like an almost safe room kind of place where like the door locks behind them, and there's a phone in here that they can use to call the police, and he does call the police, Mike, and it's almost like there's a kind of tender moment where Sam is like, "No, please don't leave me," as he's leaving to call the police, and he's like, "No, no, I'm not leaving you. There's a phone right there," and you see it's in the corner of the room, like 10 feet away. "I'm not leaving. I'm just gonna call the police. I'll take 2 seconds," and he calls and he's like, "Oh, this is taking too long. I informed them what's happening, but they're not going to be here forever. We can't just wait for him to find us here." So they're just, they leave the room and look for an exit, and they come across a chain door that will lead out of the building, but it's got a lock and a chain on it, and Mike he starts looking around for something to beat the lock off with, or like a key or something like that, and then Art comes out of fucking nowhere. He's back. He's good. He's not even bleeding. He's not even flinched, and he just tackles Mike to the ground. And he fucking curb stomps him. He stomps his head until it caves in, and yeah, I mean, it's all fucked up. Like, imagine if you just dropped like a cinder block on someone's head from a really high distance. That's what happened to Mike. I mean, it's all fucked up. It looks, and once again, looks amazing. Like, very realistic effects. Looks super good. And of course, once again, after every kill, he's just laughing, but not laughing. He's going, and yeah, I mean, he's like very entertaining because he's so cartoonish, and I like it's very intentional, obviously, and I love it. Um, and then Art's just walking towards you. He really never runs. He's just walking towards Sam, and she finds it just like a stick, like the end of a broom handle, and she starts beating the lock with it by sheer miraculous strength, or maybe it's the strongest wood known to man. I don't fucking know. The lock just comes loose after like 20 hits with a wooden stick. It just fucking falls off. And she's almost out, but then Art starts grabbing at her, and then she just kicks him away. Or no, she doesn't kick him away. She stabs him in the foot, and then this is the part that I was talking about at the beginning of the video, where he screams but doesn't scream, and then also as Sam is running away, he gives her the middle finger, which is like the most actual communication he does throughout the entire movie, I think. Um, and he's fucking pissed. He's out for Sam's blood pretty good because she just stabbed his fucking foot. I mean, that ain't cool. I mean, he didn't even do anything wrong. He didn't deserve that. But yeah, she finds her way into like this like garage outside where a bunch of cars are, and she was able to squeeze through a gap in the gate that's chained shut, and Art can't quite squeeze through, and he's covered in blood now from everyone else, and he's just trying to reach in and grab her, and he can't do it because he's got a man. He doesn't have the body to be able to fit through like she did. And then he grabs a clown horn, like the honk honk things, and he just starts going honk 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 at her as she's screaming, begging him to stop. "Please stop! Why are you doing this?" And he's just laughing and going honk 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 honk, and it's fucking amazing. Really, it's so fucked up, but also so funny in a weird way. It is incredibly entertaining.
Get away from me! Leave me alone! You fucking maniac! Leave me alone! Stop! Stop it!
And before you even know it, he gets in a car and he just rams the shit out of the gate that she's hiding behind. And he's in there now. And Sam is unconscious on the floor, still not dead though. She's breathing. And then Art, and you see him briefly as he's sitting in the car. He's jamming out to the radio. He has a song playing on the radio, and he's going in the driver's seat. And it's the best thing I've ever seen. And he gets out and goes over to Sam's body, and he's like, "You know what? I haven't eaten today. How about we eat her?" So he starts literally eating her face. Uh huh. And and it's all fucked up. And then the cops finally arrive, finally, and they're like, "What the fuck?" And they're just like, hands in the air or we'll shoot. Don't you fucking test us. And Art is just, he puts one hand up and he's going to his ankle with the other hand, and you know what he has on his ankle from earlier where when he fucking shot Tara. And and the cops are just like, show us your fucking hands, don't you do anything. And he just has this smile on his face because like the camera gets really close to him. And uh and then, before anyone has time to react, he pulls out the gun from his ankle and he just puts it in his mouth. And then one of the cops is like, no, don't do it. And then he fucking kills himself. And he blows his goddamn brains out right in front of him. And yeah. So then that's the end of that. The murder spree, almost, kind of, you'll see. And then we're in a coroner's office, and they're just delivering the body, saying like, "Oh yeah, this fucking guy. I mean, he was going to town. He was having a jolly old time killing these people." And the coroner's unzipping the body bags, and he's seeing like, "Wow, yeah, that's a corpse, all right." And then, he's saying like, "Let's see the man of the hour." And he unzips the body bag with Art, and he's still, even in death, got his eyes open and his smile spread across his face, looking right at the coroner as he unzips the body bag, which like you think is coincidences first. And he's just like, "Oh wow, that's a pretty face." And then the lights start flickering, and the phone in the corner room starts making like demonic noises. And then, as a lot of people probably saw coming, as I was watching this with a friend, he did predict this at the moment we cut to this scene with the coroner, where Art sits up like Michael Myers and starts and just grabs the coroner's throat, and he sells a smile on his face, just choking him out. And then the movie ends, and boy, oh boy, it is a fun ride. I mean, it is awful. Art the Clown is a depraved lunatic who truly has no motivation other than suffering. And that's kind of the beauty of it, if you ask me, because there's something so beautiful about when stories just have, like, sometimes it's nice to have a really complex character, but sometimes it's almost refreshing to have a character that is in a horror movie whose basis is purely slaughter. They don't have any sort of like revenge plot. They don't have any master plan. They don't want any money or fame or power or anything. They just want other people to suffer as much as humanly possible. And I kind of dig it sometimes. It has to be done well, because that trope in any sort of literature can be done terribly or really well. It depends on the quality of a writer that you are, and in this case, it's done so well where the entire time you get used to it. It's just, yeah, you're not expecting anything else from Art. You're not expecting him to be like he's finally gonna start talking like, "Aha, all these murders were part of my master plan. Now I'm gonna take over the world." No, no, he just wants to kill people. He literally just wants to bathe in people's blood, and that is it. And we don't know why. We don't know who he is. We don't know anything about him. It is fascinating. We never get any lore about him in both movies. There's nothing really. He's just this guy who's a clown who loves to kill people. Like, he fucking adores it. And that's Terrifier, all right. One really fun piece of trivia I learned after watching the movie is that the creator said in an interview that when Art killed himself at the end of the movie, the creator said that he had no idea he was going to resurrect. So like Art did not plan, like I just said, he has no plan. He just killed himself because he thought it'd be funny, and he knew there was no real way out of it. He just killed himself because, well, like, better go out with a bang, better traumatize these fucking cops. And then he just resurrects, but he wasn't expecting that. That just happened. And we don't even know why. The most prevalent fan theory is that the devil was watching him do it and was like, well, yeah, that guy should get back to work. I like what that guy is doing. He should kill more people, so the devil brought him back, which I think is plausible as the explanation there. But yeah, it's a really, really good movie. And Art the Clown is one of my favorite horror movie characters ever, and I love it to death. And if you haven't watched the movie, you really should. I think I'm gonna make a video about Terrifier 2 in the future. I know Terrifier 3 is coming out this year, and I'm probably gonna see that in theaters. Which I haven't gone to the theaters to actually see a movie in person since, that's when it was the FNAF movie back on Halloween. That was a while ago now. Should make a video about that dog shit movie too. I don't care what you say, that movie fucking sucks. It's made for the fans and it's nothing but fan service. That's a topic for another day. Anyway, if you made it to the end of the video, thank you very much. I know this is a long one, so if you watched all this, that genuinely means a lot to me. If you want to subscribe, that would mean even more. because I'm trying to grow. I mean, it's really hard to on YouTube when you're starting out. And yeah, if you just like to hit that red button there, that would mean so much to me. But other than that, you have a great day.